I don't wanna write this down. I wanna tell you how I feel right now.
Let's talk about this, man. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Sonetta TV. If you are, I'm gonna say this. First of all, eat the fish and spit out the bones. Don't just tune in to Sonetta TV and just take everything in, because straight up, if you haven't been following me and you don't know, I made a video about this. Sonetta is a fraud, but that's not the point of this video. I'm just saying, because I still need to warn y'all and let y'all know about everything that y'all might not know about, because I came across some truth, so I feel the need to spread that and let everybody know what I know. Because I used to be like an avid follower, like watching all the videos, commenting, consider myself a part of that whole community and all that. So if you watch Sonetta TV though, you know what I'm saying, you know that he loves to throw these debates and shit, pin people together, pin information together, which he shouldn't be doing, because information should be built upon, not debated. You know what I'm saying? When it becomes a fucking debate, it becomes a show. Like you're making a show out of something that should be so serious. And that's how you mislead people and shit like that. So I don't really love debates from him. I like debates in general, but not from Sonetta TV, because he's just a fraud, like I said. But anyway, so he likes to throw these debates. And he got this debate right now with this dude named Jabari and this I would like to say a European woman, with all of this shit they be talking about white people, but they on here, you know, taking information from this same white devil. It is what it is. That's what I'm talking about when I say they frauds. But she's up here, this white lady. I guess she's from Israel or something like that. So they're debating whether the 5G network has anything to do with the coronavirus, and is vaccines good for people or is it not? Now Jabari, straight up and down, my nigga, you let me down so bad. And you only let me down because I thought you were mature about your shit. I thought you were this so-called comedic teacher, my bad, and that, you know, you had composure to yourself, maturity to yourself, and you know how to carry yourself pretty well. I seen a few other debates you was in, Jabari was in, and he handled himself very well. But in this one, man, I'm telling you, he showed what was under his skirt. Like, this lady pulled his skirt up and exposed him. I think I'm talking too loud. This lady pulled his skirt up and exposed Jabari for who he is, for the world to see, clear as day. This shit was embarrassing, like straight up embarrassing. How insulting Jabari got because he was losing as bad as he was. And to be honest with you, this shouldn't even have been a debate as far as who's winning and losing. Like I said, this should be just information that should be built upon, because what the lady was saying was some very powerful shit. I guess, for one, she works in that field. She has the knowledge in that field. I forgot the technical term used for her profession, but she works in that field. She knows exactly what the fuck she's talking about. She said she's actually built stuff with radiation, so she knows, you know, in depth about radiation and frequencies and things like that. And she's breaking it down. Jabari is saying that she's not showing facts. She's not showing, you know, articles and proof, basically. And further on, she started to show articles and proof and, you know, valid, you know, information, you know, to back up what she talking about. And Jabari is just being insulting the whole time. This dude just had me shaking my head, like, literally. Like, why do it seem like some of us black people cannot be as mature as we need to be when it matters? Why do it seem like that? Jabari, you're a grown-ass man. You're in your 40s. You call yourself a teacher, a comedic teacher. teaching African history and things like that. You're a father, you're married, you got a family. People look up to you and respect you, and all it took was a pro at this information, if you will, to pull your skirt and expose you for being a weak ass nigga. Because you handled yourself. You handled yourself so weak. It was pathetic. It's embarrassing. Like, I can only imagine how you feel watching that shit back. Because you've probably never had to see yourself like that before. Because I seen you against Zion Lex. You handled that shit very well until it almost went left. I seen you against that weirdo Salas, and you just sunned him and had him in his place the whole time, like, showing levels. I seen you with who else? Tazariak, I think. I seen you out there on the streets with Polite, or not Polite, but some other niggas. Like, I seen you, my nigga, and you always find a way to be mature and composed. But this woman completely make you lose all composure over yourself, all control of yourself, because you was so the same shit I just talked about in my previous video, this ego shit. Because this is your platform, your quote unquote fans are watching you, so you got to flex this ego to show them that you're the man, and you're still, you're this alpha male, and you're running shit, and this woman ain't really doing nothing to you, when really the only reason you was displaying yourself like that was because you felt like she was doing something to you. You felt like she was defeating you, like, on the low, like, straight up. You knew that, you felt that, and you showed that, because action speaks very loud, my nigga. And it was clear to see. And you made me feel embarrassed watching that shit. Because it's not many of us that are highly intellectual and that can carry ourselves a certain type of way in certain discussions in order to communicate what we need to communicate and understand what we need to understand. It's not a lot of us that could do that. I thought you were one of them. But you're very limited. You're very limited. Because this whole conversation, you are not built for this conversation. You're not built for this conversation. You're not in that field. You don't do the studies. You don't have the research. Jabari wanted to put up New York Times articles. You know what I'm saying? Media articles, like industry type articles. Like, this is the part of the industry. The industry is controlled, nigga, if you don't know. The industry is controlled. The news, the media is controlled and manipulated. You have to be living under a rock not to know that. But he's quoting the New York Times. And even a woman brought this up, like, wow, you're quoting something that was it. First of all, the article that Jabari quoted later on was proven to be fallacy, proven to be absolute false. And even after she said that, he still was going off on his little insulting tirade. He wasn't trying to understand and learn and build in any type of way, because this is what type of ego he got. This is how he wants to be looked at, like he's just this Superman that nobody can fuck with, because Sinetta's sitting there calling him the Floyd Mayweather of the conscious community. Ridiculous. This is what y'all do it for, so y'all can flex. Back to what I said in the beginning of this video, these niggas is frauds. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, man, I'm gonna play this interview, this debate. Please listen to it. It's a couple minutes. I'm gonna chop it down a little bit so it's not too long. But I just want y'all to check out how how insulting Jabari was being, and how composed and, focused the woman was, and the other guy is another guy there too. And check this out real quick, and I'm gonna come back and speak on it a little bit more.
What public health experts are trying to do is they're trying to prevent the droplets from being spewed from people's mouths when they cough, sneeze, and talk. And if you have a basic mask on, much of those things will be captured because it is believed that while COVID-19 can be aerosolized, in other words, it can travel in the air, that's not its primary means of transfer. Its primary means of transfer is through droplets. And so if you have a fabric mask in front of you, you won't be spewing droplets. You should know that it's believed that 40 or 50% of the people that have the condition are asymptomatic. So they're walking around thinking they're fine, and they're speaking and talking and spitting and whatever, and they're spreading the virus. And this is something that is so serious in our community. I will say to you that I believe that perhaps 40% of the people who have died are Black. I'm not even talking about Latinos yet. It is ravaging communities. Sonetta will tell you that in the community we live in, Harlem, all you hear is ambulances. I wish I could take my webcam. There's an ambulance across the street right now, sitting right there. I told you 2 nights ago that I saw 4 bodies removed from St. Nicholas Projects. Last night I saw 2 bodies removed from St. Nicholas Projects. How do I know their bodies? Because the sheet is over their head when they take them to the ambulance. This is irresponsible. You are misleading people, and they're dying. And you've been doing this for a long time, brother. You have to stop this. You must stop this. He's even telling you that you should get a good holistic health person instead of look for a virus. Well, here's the one thing we'll agree on. A holistic health person may be able to help you boost your immune system. That's a good thing all day, every day. But the reality is a boosted immune system does not give you the kind of coverage against a virus that a vaccine will. So that, yes, go to your holistic health person. But when the vaccine is ready, study what vaccine they're using, understand what they're... I don't think you should just let anyone stick anything in your vein at all. You should do your research. Because I don't trust the same people he doesn't trust. But to say that I don't trust any of the science of vaccines is ridiculous.
Okay, so here are some of the documents that we want to be. But before that, I want to say that I think that Jabari is doing a huge misservice to his community. He's using what's called demagogue. It's like abusing data, misleading data, and quoting industry data. The bottom line is this radiation is harmful, and people need to know the truth so people can protect themselves. And day in, day out, I get hundreds of calls of people who became sick. He tried to say that my condition is rare. Guys, if you have headaches, heart palpitations, sleep disturbances, if your children have cognitive problems, ADHD, memory problem, then you really want to try and turn off the wireless devices in your home, and you may discover that a lot of those symptoms will go away. And I can tell you a story from here to tomorrow. I'm writing right now 20 affidavits for the court about children who became very sick from this radiation. Once the wireless was removed from their home, they got better. So you can choose to listen to manipulation of science, or you can listen to what actually is going on the ground. Stop hearing what industry said. By the way, Jabari quoted the New York Times articles. The Irish press ombudsman, which is the lawyer for the Irish press, determined that this article by the New York Times is an abuse of journalism and violates the rules of truth and accuracy in journalism. Now we ask ourselves why that New York Times would publish such an article. Well, guys, just like the rest of the media, it is owned by the wireless industry.
All right, I gotta come back to Jabari, and then you'll get your whole time. Brother Jabari, you got 7 minutes. The time is 8:33.
Hold on, so maybe give me the time, and then he'll give him the time to respond. That makes better sense.
You want to do that, Jabari? Is that all right? You want to give her 7 minutes, and then you get 7 minutes?
No,
okay. All right. He said no. It's on you, Jabari. It's 8:33. Go.
When they ask for a 2-on-1, they get a 2-on-1. I'm not giving you anything that's going to help you. Why would I do that? Let me be really clear on this. Our brother Curtis Cost says, this is a quote. This is a quote. I would shoot down all his stuff, but we have limited time. That is his admission that he is losing. How do you say that? I would defeat him, but I have limited time. That is one of the most laughable things I've ever heard. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that little clip and make it my ringtone. So when I have a bad day, I'm going to feel good about myself because Curtis Scott said, he's so bad, I would defeat him, but I have limited time. By the way, the other thing that I have done here, I want you to be so clear. I have asked them to show you sources. They have shown you nothing. And they will continue to show you nothing. Why? Because they have nothing. That's what we're doing here. You guys are wasting my time. This is not how this is done. Curtis says that his book is amazing, that it's supported by all these people, not one name other than Dr. John Henry Clark. I'd love to see what Dr. John Henry Clark said about your book. There's so many things here that are done so poorly. He said, let me go to something else. He says they did not vaccinate the whole planet. He knows very well that vaccination is not something you do for everyone. And I know you've heard of the term herd immunity. So why in the world would you even make that argument? Because you know that no public health person, first of all, there's some people with very compromised immune systems that cannot be vaccinated. They are hoping that because everyone else is vaccinated, the chances that these people with very poor immune systems will actually confront these pathogens is lowered. No one intends to vaccinate everyone. That's not how public health works. Now, with the limited information he has, he knows that. So you must understand that what he is doing is what we should call a disservice. He does not deserve to be on Black people's airwaves if he's going to do that. Because he knows that. Curtis, not if you've heard the term herd immunity. Yeah, okay, right. So let's keep moving here. He also says that the picture that I showed, I think he's talking about, I want to see if I can show you the picture. The picture I showed, this one here, is actually CGI because it's not in color. Curtis, in basic scholarship, understand, my argument is not about the darn picture. Are you just looking through the books, looking at pictures to make your arguments? My argument is about the text of the argument. I never even referenced the picture. We both know that they have actually made this picture colorful so that it's interesting to the people who are reading it. That's a fact. I made no assertion that that picture is an actual image of the coronavirus. He would make you think that this picture is my argument. This is not how scholarship is done, dear brother. With this poor showing, I wonder what the book looks like. I really do. Because that is really sad. Then he says, our friend Dafna says, turn off the Wi-Fi. When people have kids that are feeling poor and they turn off the Wi-Fi, their kids feel better. Well, you know what, Sonetta? I had a cold. I think it was a cold last year. And, you know, it was so interesting. It was at the same time that the power season ended. You know what I realized? That stars gave me that illness because power was on. Power made me sick. This is not how this is done. She is making the same logic fallacy that I referred to in our last conversation. Here's the logical fallacy. Everyone that comes into the hospital that has the coronavirus is wearing socks. Therefore, socks cause the coronavirus. Simply because you turn off your Wi-Fi and someone reports that their child feels better, that doesn't mean that the Wi-Fi is causing it. By the way, in the hood, most of us don't even have Wi-Fi in our homes.
I mean, come on, man. He talking about they're not ready. They're not equipped type shit for this conversation when she is the professional in this shit. She's the one that know about it. I guess she's also a lawyer, but she knows this field. And the guy is showing you that he has tangible proof to back up what he's talking about. But Jabari just want to sun them in front of his fans. That's all he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like sometimes a person can think the world of themselves, but the world don't really think that much of you. Because if you go down into the comment section and look at what the comments are saying, everybody pretty much is saying that Jabari embarrassed himself and he clearly lost. Everybody. I'm not seeing one comment siding with Jabari any type of way. And this is on Sonetta. This is Sonetta Studios. This is his channel. Where you would think all these fans and sheeps is gonna come and massage Jabari's ego, but they didn't. They kept it real, straight up. I remember when I seen Tariq Nasheed and Jared Taylor debated each other. Tariq Nasheed straight up damn near had me in my feelings, the way how goofy he was, how comedic and dumb he was. It was almost like a literal, like a literal, like a menstrual show almost. Like a way to just make fun of himself and overall making fun of black people while trying to act like you're saying powerful shit. Because Tariq was an embarrassment all through that debate. I mean, check this out real quick. He tried to talk about white supremacy, and Jared Taylor trying to basically explained white supremacy and kind of contradicted what Tariq was saying. So listen to this real quick.
Tariq, are you googling the answers right now?
No, I'm streaming live, and the people saying they can't hear me, so I can't stream live. I just have to use, I have to download it. So I gotta stop streaming live on my end. So I'm not googling anything, but let me stop streaming.
No, I'm just joking with you.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay, you have permission. Yeah, you have permission. You can use this video on your channel. You can mirror it or whatever you need to do.
Okay. All right. Let me. All right.
Let's get back into it. Let's get going.
Yeah. Let me repeat my question here.
No, go ahead, brother.
You said something about how when the black civil rights movement got going, then the white supremacists, we white supremacists, decided that we were going to elevate the Asians into a model minority. And I suppose they would not have been a model minority unless that we had permitted them to. So we more or less tricked or browbeated or somehow made them into a group that has a lower crime rate than whites, lower illegitimacy rates than whites, more successful academically than whites. We tricked them into that. Whereas in the case of black people, we tricked them into having a higher crime rate and a higher illegitimacy rate and a higher poverty rate. Does that pretty much summarize your view?
Well, the thing is, Jared, even before the civil rights movement, the Asians had a low crime rate and black people had a low crime rate, but you still had the yellow peril. You still dominated and mistreated them and used coded language and not so coded language to disparage them openly.
Wait, I want to get back to this model minority stuff.
That's where I'm going with it. Before they were the model minorities, the crime rate was low with people of Asian descent. They weren't committing crimes. They didn't have out of wedlock babies. They were just doing their thing. Nothing changed with them. Nothing changed with them after the civil rights movement, other than the white supremacists wanted to use them to undercut black society. Nothing changed.
Well, but then we used them to undercut black society, but in a way that in effect undercuts white society, because Asians are now, they have a higher income than whites, more likely to get into elite schools, and they have, as I say, less likely to be in jail. In other words, we have created a model minority that is even more successful than the white supremacists.
Yeah, I mean, when you just have claims and not enough support and information to back up what you're saying, it causes for you to look like a joke. It causes for you to look like you're not ready. And this is what it's looking like. Like a lot of us, when we go out and debate, we're not ready. Because knowing a little bit and you know, people massaging your ego with the little bit of information that you got, that can miscommunicate you. That miscommunicates to yourself that you're something that you're really not, because your limited amount of information is just not ready for somebody that's really in depth with this shit and been doing this for a long time. A lot of these people that debate, these simpletons, have been doing it for very long times. They know very much in depth of what they're talking about. While these other people, they just smoothly moving on the surface. You just know the basics of it, not really too much. And stop embarrassing yourself, because when you do that, when you just know the surface information, all you can do is embarrass yourself to somebody that know this shit, top to bottom. All you can do is make yourself look bad. And it's embarrassing to watch and listen to. Like, for real. Especially when it's somebody that's representing your race and they're trying to represent you in front of another race. And they're so fucking ignorant. It's embarrassing. Very much. Very embarrassing. Straight up. Like, for real. You know what I'm saying? Jabari, I had somewhat respect for you, and I took my shit back. You lost my shit. You lost my respect. You don't deserve it. You let a woman come in here and caused you, because it wasn't even about winning or losing. It's just how she made you get all emotional and started acting like you was a kid. That's the worst part of it. It's not that she won the debate. It's the fact that she made you look like a little ass boy. Crazy. That shit is crazy, man. That shit is crazy. If y'all want to debate, get your information up. Know what you're talking about in depth. Have support and information to back up your claims. That's it. And Jabari talking about they not showing proof or none of that. And they did show proof. And when they showing proof, he ridiculed the proof, because he went and said she brought up something that happened years ago, and then she brought up some other shit that happened like 30 or 40 years ago. So he just ridiculed what she put up as evidence while sitting there asking her to show up evidence. You still made fun of her while asking her to show evidence after she showed the evidence. You still made fun of her. You got issues, nigga. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Time to wrap this up, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Stay up, man, and stay healthy. Stay firm. Keep God close. I'm out.